I'm David Ashcraft, and today I'm going to introduce you to David Jeffrey, winemaker for Calluna Vineyards. I worked with David in 2004 and 2005, scouring the hills and mountains of Napa and Sonoma County to find this gorgeous 80-acre piece of raw land. Raw land being one of the more challenging types of real estate transactions around. David came to the wine country with a vision in mind and a business plan in hand, and has since then created a gorgeous vineyard estate and a wonderful luxury wine brand. Let's go take a look and see what David's been up to. I think you'll enjoy it. Here we are today with Dave Jeffrey of Calluna Vineyards, who purchased this property back in 2005. Believe it or not, this beautiful vineyard wasn't here 5 years ago. And as I recall, you came with a great education and background in wine, spending time in France, going to school, and with the ultimate idea of creating your own wine brand, selling wine, and looking at it from a business standpoint. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, that was my goal. I've been interested in wine for a very long time. Somewhere around the mid-'80s, I began reading about wine all the time, collecting it, traveling to wine country, making homemade wine from time to time. But it became a dream some time ago to actually start a vineyard like this. Around 2001, my family left the East Coast, but we first went to Fresno so I could go through Fresno State's enology program there, learn about enology and viticulture more formally, as well as I did a project where I worked in Bordeaux for 3 months during the harvest there. So I learned a lot that was able to help me in the implementation of this vineyard.
This property didn't have a vineyard, didn't have a home, didn't have anything when Dave first purchased it, and basically started from the ground up. Can you tell us a little about that adventure?
Oh, well, yes, definitely. And I did come here really for the wine and the vineyard, but I will say, as you've pointed out, that it was quite an experience buying just raw land, because I learned that before you really get going on too many other things, you've got to put in a septic system, a water system, a power system, the road, and all these things that are sort of ancillary to the property but very important.
Including a bridge.
Yeah, exactly. Nevertheless, the real goal and some of the great challenges were putting the vineyard together just the way we wanted to do it.
Tell us about this particular block behind us and some of the other blocks that you have growing here.
Well, this is one of our Cabernet Sauvignon vineyards, and one I'm particularly proud of. We call it the Colonel's Vineyard, and we actually make a little bit of a single vineyard Cabernet from it. But you can see, looking at these vines, that they're a little bit more oriented in their looks. The vines of Bordeaux, because the idea is to keep small vines. But you'll see in the rest of the property, we have the 5 classic varietals that are grown in Bordeaux. Again, I said Cabernet Sauvignon here, and across from the guest house, we have a Cabernet Franc vineyard of about 1 3/4 acres here, and in the distance there you'll see a vineyard of Petit Verdot, and behind that, as sort of part of the same block, is some Malbec.
What makes Chalk Hill, this area, so unique in terms of the microclimate or terroir, soil?
Well, Chalk Hill is a very good appellation because it's a transitional appellation from the very cool Russian River down below in the Sonoma coast into the hotter Knights Valley, Napa Valley, Dry Creek, and Alexander Valleys. It's transitional. So for Bordeaux varietals, it's actually a relatively cool area. And yet it's one that can fully ripen these varietals in a way that it's very satisfying. So you get, as I like to say, intensity in the wine, but still in a relatively lighter bodied wine.
The main wine of our property is a Bordeaux blend, which we call Calluna Vineyards Cuvée. That's a blend of the 5 classic varietals of Bordeaux.
So I view this as a wine of our terroir here in the Chalk Hill appellation, but one which retains some great balance and freshness too.
Great. And then how does someone purchase your wines? Through your website? You're selling to restaurants?
Right, through CallunaVineyards.com. We also have a distributor in California that sells to retailers and restaurants. If you're really interested in trying our wines, please go on to CallunaVineyards.com and think about joining our Friends of Calluna subscription list, which is essentially like a wine club, but one which doesn't involve a huge commitment. You get 3 bottles twice a year, and like I say, it's a way of just trying our wines.
Sounds like a great idea to me. How about we try some right now?
Sure, and I'm going to pour some of our 2008 Merlot, which I call Merlot au Reynaud, dedicated to Alain Reynaud and his family of the right bank of Bordeaux, for whom I worked in 2003.
That's great. Well, I would like to propose a toast to you, to Dave Jeffrey of Calluna Vineyards, who has come to the wine country and who's now enjoying the fruit of his labor. And that's what we do. We help people fulfill their dreams. And cheers to you, Dave.
Thank you.